welcome you all. I am G.Premalatha from the Department of English, Sithalakshmi Ramasamy College, Trichy. I am going to explain what is verb in English. Verb is one among the parts of speech. Parts of speech is nothing but the parts which helps to speak a language. Each and every language has its own parts of speech. In English, we have 8 parts of speech. They are noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, preposition, conjunction and interjection. These are all the 8 parts of speech in English. Verb is one among them. Now I am going to explain what is verb in detail through showing my PPT to you. Main verbs and helping verbs of English grammar. This is my topic. First of all, I just explain you what is verb. The word which is used to describe the action is called verb. For example, walking, running, speaking, writing, etc. Okay, so whatever the action we are doing, it comes under the category of verb. There are two main divisions are there in verb, that is main verbs and helping verbs. Main verbs has 6 divisions, that is strong verbs, weak verbs, transitive verbs, intransitive verbs, finite verbs and non-finite verbs. Under the category of helping verbs, there are 2 divisions, that is auxiliary and modal auxiliary. Apart from these 2 divisions, there are 5 forms of verb. These 5 forms especially meant for the main verbs. First one, present verb. Second one, past verb. Third one, past participle. Fourth one, present participle. And fifth form, two form verb. So we can call it, simply we can call it as V1, V2, V3, V4 and V5. Each and every main verb has these 5 forms. For example, if we take the verb come, it has 5 forms. That is come, came, come, coming, to come. So next one, if we take the verb write, write, wrote, written, writing, to write. So like this, each and every main verb has these 5 forms in English. I have given some other examples, that is catch. Catch is V1, caught V2, V3 also caught, V4 catching, and to form verb to catch. Another example, walk, walked, walked, walking, to walk. And then one more example I have given, that is put, putting, to put. So these are all the 5 forms. So I have given few examples alone. There are plenty of main verbs are available in English. Next one, main verbs. As I have already told you, there are 6 divisions, that is strong, weak, transitive, intransitive, finite and non-finite. First, we just see strong verbs. Strong verbs is nothing but the verbs which form their past tense by simply changing the vowel without adding ed or d or t. That verbs are called as strong verbs. For example, if we never add d or ed or t along with the V1 verb, that is comes under the category of strong verbs. In the category of strong verbs, we have 3 different V1, V2 and V3. Okay, so next one, weak verbs. The verbs which form their past tense by adding ed, d or t to the present are known as weak verbs. So, along with the V1 verb, if we add ed or t or d along with the V1 verb, that comes under the category of weak verb. So, for strong verbs, I have given some example. Come, came, come. So, in this form, we have 3 different variety of V1, V2 and V3. If we take the verb write, wrote, written. So, V1, V2, V3, all is different. In the same way, if we take the verb walk, walk is a V1, walked is V2 and walked is V3. So V2 and V3, these two things, these two forms never changed. So along with the V1 verb, walk, we just add ed to make V2 and V3 verb. So along with the main verb, if we add ed, d or t, that is called weak verbs. Okay, I have given two more examples. Want, wanted, 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 spend, spent, spent. So in this verb, in the third example, we just add t alone. Okay. So next one, transitive verbs. Transitive verbs are action verbs that have an object to receive that action. So to give a complete meaning, we must have an object in that sentence if we used transitive verbs. For example, please bring coffee. So in this sentence, if we remove the word, if we remove the object coffee, it will be it will not give a complete meaning. Please bring. So in this sentence, automatically there will be a question what we have to bring. So in this type of verbs, we must that verb must have an object to give a complete meaning. Next one, I have given some other examples. We move the benches. If we remove the words the benches, it will be a question what we have to move. And then another example, I prepared for my exams. If we remove the words for my exams, if we remove that object, there automatically there will be a question for what we have prepared, for what I have prepared. Okay, so without an object, the sentence itself raises questions like what or who, like that. So this is called transitive verbs. Next one, intransitive verbs. Intransitive verbs do not have an object for receiving the action. So in this sentence, there is no need to use an object. The sentence itself, without an object, the sentence itself gives a complete meaning. I laughed. I have given some example. The first one is I laughed. Second one, the book fell. Third one, he walks. So in these three sentences, there is no object, but it gives a complete meaning. So the above sentences are comprehensible without an object in a sentence. So if we in the sentence if the sentence gives a complete meaning without an object, it is comes under the category of intransitive verbs. Next one, finite verbs. V1, V2, V3. So these three categories comes under the category of finite verbs. Finite verbs are using in three places. First one to denote tense, and then second one to denote the numbers, and the third one to denote the person, whether it is a first person, second person or third person. To denote the person, we are using finite verbs. Uh, to denote the tense, I have given some examples. I play chess every day. So this is for present tense. So play is V1 verb. And I played chess every day. Sorry, I played chess yesterday. So yesterday I have played chess. So here we have used V2 verb. And the third one, I will play chess tomorrow. So here we have used the V1 verb play. Okay, along with the will, along with the verb helping verb will, we just used V1 verb. So here V1 verb and V2 verb has used. And then finite verbs are using to denote the numbers. I have given some examples. Student writes the exam. Student writes the exam. Here only one student are mentioning here, so I have used writes. Along with the verb we just used yes. Next sentence, students write the exams. So here more number of students are mentioning, so we have used write. Okay, students write the exam. Here we have used V1 verb. And then first to denote the person, whether it is a first person or second person or third person, we are using these verbs. For example, I go to the school. So here I have used first person. So V1 verb has been used. I go to the school. Next example, he goes to the school. So along with the verb along with the subject he, she, it, that is the third person singular, we have to use yes or es along with the main verb. So here I have mentioned he goes to the school. So V1, V2, V3. So these three categories comes under the division of finite verbs. And the next one, non-finite verbs. V4 and V5 comes under the category of non-finite verbs. V4 verb and V5 verbs are using as an adjective and as an adverb and also as noun. So for adjective, I have given some example. The sleeping cat is brown. So here the cat is brown in color. But here they have mentioned the sleeping cat. So sleeping is an ing form of verb, but here it is denoting the adjective. Okay, here it is used as an adjective. So the sleeping cat is brown. Next verb, next one, adverb. She went to US to study. So here to study, that is V5 form, that is two form verb. So here that two form verb has been used as an adverb. Next one, noun. Swimming is a good exercise. So swimming has been used here. It is used as a subject. Uh, better we can say that swimming is used as a gerund. Okay, ing form of main verbs is called as gerund. Okay, here swimming is a good exercise. Swimming is used as a noun. So generally V4 verb and V5 verbs are called as non-finite verbs. Next one, helping verbs. So far we have seen what are the main verbs and its categories. And then helping verbs. Helping verbs, there are two categories, that is auxiliary and modal auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs are used to form tenses, voices or moods. It is also called as primary auxiliary verbs. There are three helping verbs, that is there are three divisions, that is do form verb, be form verb and have form verb. Under the division of do form verb, there are three verbs are there: do, did, does. Under the division of be form verb, am, is, was, or were. So these are comes under the category of be form verb. And then have form verb, have, has, had. So these three comes under the category of have form verb. So these do form, be form and have form. So these three things comes under the category of auxiliary verbs. Next one, modal auxiliary verbs. Modal auxiliary verbs are used to indicate modality, that is likelihood, ability, permission, request, capacity, suggestions, order, obligation and or advice. So in these kind of situations we are using modal auxiliary verbs. There are 14 modal auxiliary verbs are there in English. They are can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, must, ought to, dare to, need to, have to and used to. So these 14 verbs are comes under the category of modal auxiliary verbs. That's all. These are all the divisions of verbs. Thank you. Thank you all.